What's up guys, Chris here from Mainly Mesh, and welcome to today's review of the new Gate Torque. The release of the new Torque was a pretty big surprise for me when I first got a message from Gate saying they were back in the business. This was a company I was super bummed to see disappear from the market a few years back. From what I heard, it had a lot to do with their parent company making a bad gamble on a rubber manufacturer, I want to say, and then they had to cut like smaller expenditures, which happened to be Gate Lacrosse. I don't know, craziness. Then Paul Gate, who was the main engineer behind Gate Lacrosse, moved all of his focus to Team 22, which is his other brand, which licenses the Under Armour brand. So pretty much Paul's efforts have been entirely focused on Under Armour since then. So it was nice to still have him in the industry. Obviously, he's one of the most talented engineers of all time, but it was definitely sad to see such a prominent name such as Gate disappear. Right before Gate left, they were working on their new Gate Ice line, and we're potentially going to be pushing more towards this ice speed setup. Those pads and gloves and shafts didn't release. If you guys remember way back when I did the Project T release, which was going to be one of their new shafts, they had another ice shaft in the works, but basically they left with some unfinished business. So when I got the message that Gate was coming back, I assumed they were going to pick up where they left off. Then they told me they were bringing back the Torque, which was a pretty big surprise. And not gonna lie, long story short, the reason why this review has taken so long is because this head has proved to be a bit of a conundrum. So first of all, Gate hooked me up with the Torque in this unreal box. It says, Chris Burke, be legendary. This thing is unreal. I'm assuming it's waterproof maybe? You gotta do this weird little valve thing. But yeah, how sick is that? Comes with a little info card, got some Gate stickers. Should I give away this box? It's pretty baller. I want to make sure it gets put to good use because it's heavy duty. Now, if you've been around the game for a while, you obviously recognize the original Torque, one of the most famous heads of all time. I've talked about it a lot. I won't go into it much. This is actually a super rare Torque 2 that I snagged from, I can't remember, whoever offered it to me. Thank you so much. You still see it a ton in the box game, one of the most popular heads of all time. What made the Torque super special was its offset, but also its weight. It came in around 4.5 ounces. Actually, why don't I just weigh this? 4.6, I think it's 4.5. The Torque 2 is actually a little bit heavier. They have extended fins, yada yada. Super light, super slim, pinched head, super smooth release, not a lot of whip. It was pretty laid back. Awesome product for those box guys. People loved it. So then the new Torque shows up. First of all, those kind of iconic struts are a little bit lost. It looks kind of more like a standard profile, so there's definitely some hints of torque. The face shape is more or less the same. They did keep those inside fins, which is always fun. A little bit of a throwback, but super big difference in terms of how stiff this head is. Put it on the scale, and with the ball stop, it weighed in at 5.7 ounces. What? That alone makes this head feel completely different from the original Torque. And while it's awesome that this head got beefed up because the Torque was super fragile, 5.7 ounces is one of the heaviest heads on the market as far as a short stick goes. In their marketing, they claimed 5 ounces. I think Greg got 5.5 on his. He might have also been measuring without a ball stop. Yeah, it's really beefy. Gate has made it pretty clear with their initial offerings that they're targeting the indoor market big time. The Gates are Canadian, obviously, and we're really two of the first players to kind of introduce that hybrid style to the field game and show that it could dominate. So this head really feels like it was targeted at the box market. Now, related to that, the other interesting thing is no matter how I strung this had a good amount more whip than the original Torque. I think that has to do with the curvature of the bottom rail being pushed up slightly. It also seems to be a little bit more offset. I might just be hallucinating, but because it's wider in the throat, this is a universal spec head, unlike the high school spec Torque. This is gonna feel very different from the original Torque in terms of how it performs. Honestly, aside from the name, there's really no similarity. That aside, I think this head does fit a brawling defensive box player very well. I'm not sure I would look at it as an LSM option right now just because the ECD DNA, that's so hard to say, is such a dominant option and I think has a better pinch and face shape than this head does. I wouldn't push you towards the Torque for an LSM, nor would I really push you towards it for an attackman because it is so heavy. if you are just kind of looking for an invincible head, Under Armour is known for how sturdy their products are, and clearly Team 22 brought that belief in strength and longevity of products into the Torque. The only other fun, cool thing about the Torque is these inside fins. They give you a ton of flexibility in terms of stringing options. You can be super creative. For all you guys who like stringing to the inside, I think you're gonna have a blast with this head. You can really make the slimmest pocket possible with the new regulations because of these fins. So I think if you're a creative stringer and you want to check it out, you could come up with a pretty cool pattern. I did a pretty smooth box pocket here that I was having a lot of fun with. Overall, super pumped that Gate's back. Their pads look awesome. I think they're gonna tear it up in the box game. I think this head's gonna do really well in the box game. You're gonna see a lot of guys using it. I would like to see them kind of refocus on that ice or even the Gate Air concept that they're pushing on the women's side of things. I think the new women's head that they put out looks amazing, arguably even better than the Under Armour women's 6 that they're putting out. And I would really like to see that kind of ingenuity that Gate used to be known for focused on the air side of things and incorporated back into the men's game. Thanks so much to the people over at Gate for hooking me up with the new Torque, for including me in their promo for this head. This is a brand I just have so much respect for, both nostalgically but also what they do currently. While this head might not have been entirely on the mark for me with what I look for these days, I have full faith and confidence that they're going to be a super solid brand. They're going to have some awesome products, and keep an eye out for what they're doing in the future. So I'll include a link below to some of their stuff, to their new website, as well as a link to the Patreon. Please help me out if you like these videos. I'm going to be doing a bunch coming up. Next, I've got reviews of the new Epic Shaft lineup, and then I'm going to be doing a Patreon giveaway with some of the STX side tie shafts, and then going to be reviewing the Savage X shafts as well as the Maverick lock. There's one more. And then some Stringer Shack G3 XL mesh and Mesh Dynasty reviews. Gonna be cruising. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys next time.